In 1998, Joe migrated from California to Georgia to fill in as a supervisor at an auto body shop with his cousin. Before long, Joe's sibling followed him to the Peach State and leased a little house worked in the last part of the 1800s. It looked decent from an external perspective, it didn't feel better from within, Joe said on the digital recording. Things were off from the second he assisted his sibling with moving into the house. I strolled into the house and went, gracious, man. The hair stood up on the rear of my neck and I just felt jittery. Similar to this spot isn't cool in any way, he said. Minutes after the fact, while conveying things into the room, Joe says he heard murmuring. A warmed murmuring, very nearly a contention, between two individuals that appeared to be drifting in the highest point of the roof region of the room, he added. Joe ran out of the room and inquired as to whether he'd felt something not quite right about the house, as well. His sibling had gotten on the energy, however in the wake of asking on it, his sibling said he felt that things would be okay. However long you're great, Joe said. I'm bad, yet I will help you, however I'm returning home and I likely won't return here. In the weeks that followed, there were more surprising events remembering an unnerving occasion for which Joe's 8-year-old nephew was scrubbing down and sat up to see an old man in the tub with him. It took around 2 days to calm him down and he never cleaned up after that. In the wake of nodding off on the sofa one evening, Joe's sibling arose to find an old man and lady situated on one or the other side of him contending to and fro about whether or not they planned to permit the sibling and his family stay in the home. The kicker was the point at which Joe's sibling requested to get his truck one evening, in the wake of getting word that his 4-year-old girl had been tracked down meandering along a bustling street without help from anyone else with her hand up high. Police and different organizations were brought in to research and when asked, the 4-year-old made sense of she'd quite recently taken a walk around the old woman. What old woman? Joe's sibling inquired. The old woman that lives here, his little girl answered. She simply needed to take a walk, so we took a walk. The front entryway was very weighty for a 4-year-old, so everybody was baffled the way in which she had the option to take off from the house. The old woman opened the entryway, then we petted the canine for somewhat, then took a walk, she made sense of. She was so authentic and legit at 4 years of age, that he was unable to call her liar, Joe said. Soon after, his sibling moved out of the house and never returned. Joe actually drives by the house practically consistently. It seems to be an entirely typical, satisfactory house, with the exception of what's inside.